Right, hello everyone. We are back for another tournament here, Cinco de Mayo, and this is going to be rookie hole number 1 that I'm going to be setting up for. Here you can see, I'm using kind of my standard bag. It's when I look at my clubs, first and foremost, I'm always going to be thinking, precision. So I'm kind of looking, but I also need to factor in some other things. So when I compare these, an example, I like having the extra ball guide for the sniper, but I also need to make sure that I don't need a lot of backspin. So especially for shootouts in the tournament, you're going to see me, always on the forefront of my mind be thinking about having that extra backspin, because 30 might not be enough. That's only like 2.5 bars, two something bars of backspin, and it just might not quite stop the ball. But I do really like that, ball guide, and the only thing that, the power's a little bit down. So early on in the game, I used Guardian. That's kind of my 3-wood of choice. And you can see in terms of a driver, I'm kind of a little limited. I am going to use quarterback a lot in this tour, because the difference between 20 yard power isn't going to make or break my hole. So first off, I don't know what hole 1 is, so let me just get a little visual of it. It's the par 4. Okay, so it's the one that we have to skip. Okay, so it's that Milano one. In the rookie tour, I believe we're going to be able to go for the green, but we're probably not going to make it. So there's almost nothing I can put on driver-wise. Maybe big topper. Let's try it with topper. And we're just going to basically intentionally... The only problem is the length. You would need... So if you were to do it this way, you would need a Titan ball. Other than that, it's going to be a layup. But if you do have a topper, I would recommend kind of hopping it off of the island with the topper and, shooting it straight at the green. Hopefully get a lucky bounce. It rolls through the bunker. It rolls through the rough into the fairway. You're going to have an easy eagle. With that being said, we're going to lay up here. So I'm just going to, kind of strategically set up my layup. So I'm going to use quarterback because it's going to be straighter, and we're going to go about it that way for this hole. Also, something else that I wanted to mention is we started a new Facebook group, and I just wanted to give you guys the opportunity to see it. So let me show you. It is called Learn or Burn. We just started it off late last week, and it is, purely an educational group. The posts are going to be, entirely educational based on learning Golf Clash, and, picking up course knowledge, how to play holes. One of the things that I'm doing for the strategy is I'm starting to do my holes individually and give you individual guides, and I'm going to be really pushing a lot of content with 2 other guys, Steve Taylor and Kevin Warren. Right now we are all 3 kind of focusing on Golf Clash videos and tutorials and giving you guys content for all the tours in the game. So right now it's a little bit, early stages, but, I think you guys are going to be really happy with the content, especially in a few weeks. So if you want to check this out, feel free to find it on Facebook here, and, add it to, add yourself, and you should be accepted. We're looking for some of the best members in the game across all the other communities. So, if you guys want to be a part of it, feel welcome. And it's going to be focused on a lot of, education and, just showing you guys kind of the way. And, what's different about our group compared to the other group is not going to have all that other clutter posts. So you're going to really be able to find the educational content right in the forefront. There's not going to be that extra, whatever, drama or, all thousands and thousands of posts about, just other stuff that doesn't focus on, just education and learning the game. It's just going to be much more focused group. So keep that in mind. And with that being said, let's go ahead and we are going to jump into hole 1 here. Let's jump right in here. See if we can't get an opponent. We're going to be going left for a layup and hopefully go for the hole out. So what I like to do on this hole, especially when I don't know the wind, I do getting it close can be somewhat useful here. I am going to use a marlin ball. Really not going to have a lot of use for power. So you can see even with the quarterback, length isn't really going to be my greatest concern. It's going to be more about precision, and I don't even need to be very precise at all. I could miss by almost the entire bullseye. So I just need to kind of groove it in there somewhere. And for that fact, that's the reason that you see me use quarterback, because it's just so accurate. And getting it up into this little crevice over here. One of the things that I am going to do especially when I have a marlin on, I am going to be a little bit more towards max short iron. So you might put yourself in between clubs when you're playing this hole. So keep that in mind, because it's just something that might happen. So really cheating it to the right there, or that might be the only reason to even consider a 1-2 power ball, would just be to not put yourself in between clubs. But all things considered, you do want to get down here relatively long, like I just did, like we both just did. Getting it into this little crevice, you're going to have a much better angle at the green. In terms of what my opponent just did, Kingmaker, do not use a Kingmaker on this hole. It's just a waste of a ball. The cheap way to go about doing that would be a Navigator. If you want some wind resistance, a little bit of extra wind resistance. And you can see I did still get to the max power number. And even with a marlin ball, I can hole out. So, there's really no need to force the issue. And I just try to kind of focus on the spot a little bit. And you can see I'm towards max club, which is about 2.2 per ring. And I'm going to need to go very close to that full adjustment. So you're going to see me go just a little bit more than 2 rings here. And let's see, just a bit too much, just a fraction. I just pulled it just too much. I did need to go just a tiny bit more than 2 rings, I believe. One of the biggest reasons is, it's a very side wind. So if you just go normal wind adjustment, you're not anticipating that second and third hop for a side wind and changing the pitch of the ball. So you do want to, factor in getting that wind tamed a little bit. So that's why you see me do just a little bit more of an overplay, which was just a little bit more than 2 rings. You didn't need to go a little bit more than 2 rings in that situation, just not as much as I did. And I was only off by a fraction of an inch. So it wasn't very much. But you can see a marlin is plenty good enough, and a quarterback is also plenty good enough to easily get this ball down there with no question. keeping it in play, not worrying about, you know, first hopper off, second hopper off, and just threading it up through there. About the biggest mistake you could really make with you know, putting on quarterback would maybe be timing out. But there's just not a lot of mistakes that you can really make with the on that hole there. So, you know, very safe drive, very safe approach shot. And what I like to do on this hole, well, I do like to have a lot more side spin for this ball, so I'm a little bit outmatched on the shootout. But we're going to do what we can. I usually use, I can't even really remember. I know I'm going to have to get a little aggressive here, so I'm just trying to maybe kind of groove this spot. And as you can see, you know, it's going to fluctuate tremendously with how much the wind's going to play. I'm going to play about 2 rings here, kind of in here. Additionally, I'm going to curl it. I did catch perfect ball, which is good. So let's see how this comes in. But as you can see, you know, I really hit that. I still hit that. I still landed it on that really weird, sketchy spot, so it kicked to the left. Because there's no reason my ball should have been over this far other than just landing on a real sketchy zone. And one of the things that can really help your calls is having a lot of side spin here. You'll be able to, you know, have a lot greater control over the ball. And that's the biggest technique that I can give you for a tip, would be, especially from this guy, you know, use the full side spin here, at least 5-6 bars minimum. And, you know, don't go at it straight. You know, all things considered, you know, it was very land dependent. I could have had a very nice land where it would have shot down, projected towards the hole, and I just kind of got kind of a bad break there. And it's going to be tight because of that. He might just edge it out just by being lucky and catching a little bit of that backstop and coming in towards the hole. Nope, I just edged him out. So, you know, it's not going to be good when you set up to bring, you know, things like big dog to that hole. You're just going to want to focus in on a little bit more precision. You know, my only downside there was the ball I had. So, you know, not having that side spin could really end up costing you. Other than that, you know, my speed was perfect, and if I could have just got the ball a little bit more right, and you could see I was playing around with the direction, trying to find a nice groove where it actually hops to the right, and I think I found one, but then it still hopped left. So it was just kind of a bad land zone, just kind of an unlucky break with the way my ball landed there. But you know, aside from that, if I can avoid that altogether and have even a quasar ball for that hole, and when we actually go to play it, we're going to play it with a quasar ball just to have that extra side spin boost, and it'll make it a very straightforward, easy shot. So good luck with hole number 1 there, and be on the lookout for the rest of the holes coming up here momentarily.